every character that we put into the universe, they sort of stretch the spectrum of what's kind of capable and the types of characters that can exist. And I think we have done a lot of grimdark in the past couple of years, especially. The narrative team is set down with this thing of like Zoe. We are creating a very fun little girl power fantasy in this universe where you have gods just raging at each other. How does the narrative team work with that?
Well, I think so when Zoe first started in her DNA process, I think a lot of the gameplay that was starting to rise up was this the portal trickster gameplay, being in different places. And so in narrative, what we like to do is take that gameplay, either the emotion or like the actual gameplay itself, and kind of look for an archetype in literature or just in history, mythology of like what that could represent. So for Zoe, we went way back for like trickster. So trickster, and I think that's actually one of her thematic pillars. I don't remember exactly the words for it, but
that might have been like her, I think her working name at some point.
Yeah, well, I think her working name it was trickster.
Early on, it was like portal mage or mirror mage, and then we backed off the portals a little bit. It went more for like the trickster that she's kind of having fun with you.
So I think looking back, if you look at tricksters in like mythology, so you have like Coyote or Loki or you know, Hermes or Peter Pan, just as in terms of like what they do in story is they're these heralds of change, and they know something you might not about the other world. And I think of all of those places to try and find a home for her, Targon actually was a really appropriate place because it knows a lot more about the world than Runeterra. It has that kind of immortal aspect to it. But in turn, looking at those archetypes and seeing kind of like if this is a herald of change and that it's kind of meant to kind of bend your perception of reality, then what better representation of that to kind of turn like maybe like a male-centered trickster into like a little girl. And I think Zoe is interesting because she's in this kind of preteen space where she's not quite a kid, like she's
Annie.
like Annie, but she's also not a full adult. So she still has this very playful attitude, but she carries this responsibility of information of like bringing change to your world and potential, you know, disaster.
She'll do it, but like over a long period of time.
Yeah, and the message might be a little mixed in terms of what she's actually going to tell you. But that informed her kind of like playful approach in VO. That, you know, when we were seeing the animation studies of her skipping and jumping, like all of those pieces, I mean, that's what the DNA process is, like this evolution from all the different disciplines to kind of put their piece in and see how it gets shaped by the sum of the parts.
You're making like a stew, basically.
Yes, so,
people just dumping their stuff in.
So when if somebody gets excited and they're like, I think she should have a jump rope, and then it kind of gets everybody else excited, and everybody puts their piece back into the puzzle until you step back and you're like, holy shit, this is awesome champion.
We made a stew.
Yeah,
I feel like people got very excited.
Stew.
Yeah, like people got very excited with her too. I think particularly again the animators were super excited. I think they started out nervous, and they you know, they were able to do facial animation, which is not something that they normally do.
Yeah.
Because her head is big.
Yeah.
You know, to make a little girl look like a little girl, she has to have kind of a. We have to push some of the proportions so that she reads with the camera, and so her head's a bit bigger. So the animators wanted to give her a lot of facial expressions, and again, really communicate that she's having a great time out there in the mid lane. And I know that they added, you know, they added the extra walk cycle. A lot of this was just based on the enthusiasm of the team and them feeling like this is what a little girl wouldn't walk the same way every time. Like she's going to run and she's going to skip rope. And I know at one point the question was, well, hey, if we do all this, are players ever going to find it? And they were like, if you love Zoe, you're playing this little girl, you will find that. You will find that. And
after 100, 200 games, whatever.
I think you'll find it right away, you know, because I think it really fits her personality. You almost expect it. Like you just don't expect her to be able to sit still.
Right.
So anyway.